Did you know that global gang activity accounts for approximately 30% of all violent crimes? That's a staggering statistic, right? Now imagine the world's most ruthless gangs, those that not only rule the streets with an iron fist, but also influence the socio-economic dynamics of entire regions. Today, we dive into the darkest corners of the underworld to shed light on the top 10 most dangerous gangs in the world. Kicking off our list at number 10, we have the infamous Crips. This notorious gang was born in the heart of Los Angeles in the late 60s, a turbulent time in American history. The Crips were created by Stanley Tookie Williams and Raymond Washington, who initially intended to form a group that could fend off rival gangs. However, their aspirations quickly devolved into something far more sinister. The Crips quickly gained notoriety for their violent feuds with rival gangs, especially the Bloods, their sworn enemies clad in red. Their battles painted Los Angeles streets with blood, leading to the creation of the term gang-infested neighborhoods. Their signature blue attire became a symbol of fear, a signal to those who dared cross their paths. Their influence didn't just stop at the borders of Los Angeles or even the United States. Their reach extended far beyond, forming factions in other parts of the world, making them a truly global criminal organization. The Crips have been linked to myriad crimes, but perhaps one of their most notorious was the 1995 murder of rival gang member Raymond Pettibon. Incident escalated into a full-blown gang war that resulted in numerous casualties and deep-seated animosity that persists to this day. Despite their violent reputation, the Crips have left an indelible impact on the communities they operate in. For some, they are a source of fear and violence, while others view them as protection against even more dangerous threats. It's a complex relationship that adds yet another layer of complexity to the already convoluted world of gang culture. So when it comes to the Crips, remember, they're not just a gang. They're a deeply rooted part of the socio-political landscape of the communities they operate in, serving as a stark reminder of the darker side of society. Number 9 catapults us to Central America, spotlighting the notorious 18th Street Gang. Their roots are in the gritty streets of Los Angeles, yet over time they've dramatically evolved into a formidable transnational criminal organization. They've uprooted themselves from their humble beginnings, expanding their illicit operations to encompass not just the United States, but also several Central American countries. Their activities stretch far and wide, from drug trafficking to human smuggling. They've unleashed a reign of terror with their brutal acts, leaving a chilling mark imprinted in the annals of criminal history. Their fear tactics range from aggressive assaults to merciless homicides, all in a bid to instill fear and assert their dominance. But their influence doesn't end with their violent crimes. They've entrenched themselves deeply into the fabric of Central American society, manipulating local economies, influencing politics, and creating a vicious cycle of violence and fear that hinders societal progress. Their presence is a persistent shadow that looms over the region, a grim reminder of the destructive force that is the 18th Street Gang. Ranked at number 8, we encounter the formidable Sinaloa Cartel. This Mexican drug gang, once under the command of the infamous Joaquin El Chapo Guzman, is among the globe's most powerful and destructive criminal syndicates. The brutal history of the Sinaloa Cartel can be traced back to the late 1980s, when it broke away from Guadalajara Cartel. It established itself as a major player in the drug trade, particularly in the trafficking of cocaine, heroin, methamphetamine, and marijuana, making billions of dollars annually. Their most infamous deeds include the blood-curdling violence that has wreaked havoc across Mexico and beyond. The cartel is notorious for its brutal enforcement methods, carrying out thousands of murders, kidnappings, and other violent acts to maintain control over their territories and to intimidate rivals, law enforcement, and even civilians. Under the leadership of El Chapo, the Sinaloa Cartel was known for its innovative smuggling techniques. They utilized a variety of means, from tunneling systems under the US-Mexico border and catapults to flinging drugs over fences, to the use of submarines and high-speed vessels for trafficking drugs by sea. The role of the Sinaloa Cartel in the Mexican drug trade cannot be understated. They are considered the largest provider of illicit drugs in the US, having an overwhelming presence in cities from New York to San Diego. Despite the capture and extradition of El Chapo, the cartel continues functioning, with new leaders stepping in to fill the void. perpetuating a cycle of violence and drug trade that remains a dire issue to this day. Securing the seventh spot is the Aryan Brotherhood, a white supremacist prison gang that was conceived in the cauldron of the 1960s civil unrest. This group, despite its relatively small numbers, has gained notoriety for its role in a substantial proportion of prison murders in the United States. The formation of the Brotherhood was a response to the racial divisions and the need for protection within the prison system. Born in the infamous San Quentin State Prison, the gang initially consisted of a handful of members, but soon the flames of their ideology engulfed other institutions. The Aryan Brotherhood is infamous for its violent incidents. One of the most notorious cases involved the killing of 2 black inmates at the United States Penitentiary, Marion, in 1983, an event that led to a permanent lockdown of the facility. Similarly, their orchestrated murders of rival gang members and corrections officers have led to some of the bloodiest days in the history of American penitentiaries. The influence of the Aryan Brotherhood within the US prison system is significant. They have established a hierarchical structure, functioning in a paramilitary manner with a strict code of conduct. Despite their nominal numbers, their power lies in their ability to control illegal activities within the prisons, such as drug trafficking, gambling, and extortion rackets. They have a profound psychological influence, instilling fear and commanding respect from other inmates, making them a formidable force within the walls of many American prisons. Number 6 delves into the dark underbelly of the Yamaguchi-gumi, the most formidable Yakuza organization in Japan, with a history stretching back to 1915. This Yakuza syndicate has grown from a small gambling operation to become the largest criminal organization in Japan, exerting substantial power and influence across the country. The Yamaguchi-gumi has its sinister fingers dipped into a myriad of illegal activities, from racketeering and drug trafficking to human trafficking and organized assassinations. Their most notorious crime shook the country in the late 80s, the infamous Yama-Ichi War, a violent internal feud resulting in over 30 deaths and countless injuries. The influence of the Yamaguchi-gumi echoes throughout the Japanese society, contributing to the country's crime rate and painting a stark contrast to the otherwise orderly and respectful culture. Despite the government's continuous efforts to curb their activities, this gang's power seems unshakable, symbolizing a disturbing facet of modern Japan. Securing the 5th position is the notorious Camorra, a mafia-type crime syndicate or secret society that has its roots embedded in the beautiful city of Naples, in Italy. This clandestine society's origins can be traced back to the mid-19th century, emerging from the underbelly of Naples, an intersection of poverty, desperation, and criminality. The Camorra is infamous for a plethora of notorious deeds. They established their ruthless reputation with the infamous murder of journalist Giancarlo Siani, who attempted to expose their illicit dealings, symbolizing their relentless determination to suppress the truth. One of the major shockwaves sent around the world was their involvement in the dumping and burning of toxic waste, revealing a profound disregard for human life and the environment. Despite originating from Italy, the Camorra's operations are not constrained to the boundaries of their homeland. Their nefarious activities span across Europe, reaching as far as the Americas. They have become an influential player in the international crime scene, dabbling in every conceivable illegal activity, ranging from racketeering and loan sharking to drug trafficking and arms smuggling. Their ability to infiltrate different countries and economies has made them one of the most formidable criminal organizations in the world. Number 4 ushers us to the notoriety of the Mara Salvatrucha, or MS-13. Born on the mean streets of Los Angeles in the 1980s, this gang was initially formed by Salvadoran immigrants to protect themselves against rival Mexican gangs. Its roots firmly embedded in violence and territorial disputes, Mississippi T-13 has since woven its tendrils throughout the Americas, becoming a ruthless entity known for their brutal methods and utter lack of mercy. There are reported incidents that stand testimony to their violence. The 2009 massacre of a Honduran bus carrying 28 innocent people, the infamous 2017 murders in Long Island, each more gruesome than the last. The influence of MS-13 in the Americas is undeniable. With estimated membership numbers in the tens of thousands, they command a frightening amount of power and control, notably in regions like El Salvador, Guatemala, and Honduras. The gang's reach even extends into the US prison system, further solidifying their firm grip on crime and terror. This chilling influence has led to an increased focus on gang control measures by law enforcement agencies across these regions. Sliding into the third spot, we delve into the dark underbelly of the 'Ndrangheta, an Italian mafia-style syndicate. With its roots entrenched in Calabria, this organization has metamorphosed into one of the richest and mightiest criminal networks globally. The 'Ndrangheta's history is as murky as a mobster's mystery. Birthed in the late 19th century, their name is derived from the Greek word andragathia, meaning courage or loyalty. A characteristic that distinguishes them is the strict code of silence, omerta, they abide by, making their operations incredibly clandestine. Their criminal chronicle is marked by numerous high-profile and shocking acts. The 'Ndrangheta's most notorious coup was perhaps the Duisburg massacre in 2007, where 6 Italian men were brutally gunned down in Germany, a chilling testament to their brutal modus operandi. The 'Ndrangheta's impact is not contained within Italy's borders. Their influence extends far and wide, leaving an indelible imprint on Italian society and the world beyond. They've infiltrated every level of society, from politics to business, with an estimated net worth of $60 billion, making them one of the largest global players in cocaine trafficking. The 'Ndrangheta's story is a stark reminder of the dangerous dance between power, crime, and society. An intricate web that is continuously woven in the shadows of the underworld. The second spot is dominated by the notorious Russian mafia. Rather than a singular entity, the Russian mafia represents a loose network of distinct criminal factions. Its roots trace back to the heart of Eastern Europe in the tumultuous times of Soviet Russia. In the face of extreme political and social upheaval, a clandestine underworld took form, quickly evolving into the sprawling syndicate that it is today. The Russian mafia's influence runs deep, reaching far beyond its motherland and extending across the Atlantic to the shores of North America. Its footprints can be traced through a series of infamous deeds, a testament to its pervasive stronghold on the world of organized crime. From the audacious rigging of the 2002 Salt Lake City Olympics bidding process to the masterminding of the largest theft of public funds in Russian history, amounting to over $230 million. The Russian mafia's exploits are as breathtaking as they are chilling. The Russian mafia continues to play a prominent role in the global crime scene. It has a knack for infiltrating high-level political and economic spheres, using its vast networks and resources to manipulate systems from within. Its power is not just confined to illicit activities, it also reaches into legitimate businesses, using them as fronts for money laundering and other criminal activities. In essence, the Russian mafia is not just a criminal organization, but a penetrating force that has shaped and continues to influence the landscape of global crime. And finally, the title for the most dangerous gang in the world goes to the Mexican drug cartel Los Zetas. Originally formed by deserters from the Mexican Special Forces, this gang was initially composed of only 31 members, each hand-picked for their particular set of skills. Over time, they have grown in number and in influence, morphing into a ruthless and fearsome group. Los Zetas are notorious for their extreme violence and relentless tactics. They have a grim reputation of leaving a bloody trail behind, with countless tales of mass murders, public executions, and decapitations. The San Fernando massacres of 2010 and 2011, where a total of 265 bodies were found in mass graves, serve as chilling reminders of their ruthlessness. Not only is this gang known for its violence, but it also plays a significant role in the Mexican drug trade. They have a stronghold on numerous drug trafficking routes and are involved in various criminal activities such as drug trafficking, extortion, kidnapping, and human trafficking, thereby exerting an enormous influence on Mexico's underworld. Their impact on the drug trade has shaped the contours of the illegal drug market not just in Mexico but globally. From the streets of Los Angeles to the heart of Italy, these gangs have left a trail of destruction and fear in their wake. They've shaped and influenced the world of crime, becoming symbols of power and brutality. But remember, knowledge is power. By understanding these organizations, we can begin to combat their influence and work towards a safer world. This concludes our countdown of the top 10 most dangerous gangs in the world. Stay vigilant, stay informed, and most importantly, stay safe. Today, we delve deeper into the complex world of crime, exploring the intricate statistics and the rich tapestry of historical events linked to the top 10 infamous gangs featured in this video. Over the decades, these criminal organizations have experienced their own unique rise and fall, marked by periods of intense action alternating with spells of relative dormancy. The pulse of this rhythm is often set by crucial historical milestones, including shifts in law enforcement tactics, rerouting of drug trafficking channels, and socio-political shifts. To illustrate, consider the stern crackdown on the Crips in the 90s. This period was marked by an intense police clampdown that significantly reduced their influence and accounted for an estimated 60% reduction in gang-related violence. Then take a look at the era of the war on drugs, which saw cartels like Sinaloa and Los Zetas grow exponentially. Their influence grew so much that by the turn of the century they controlled about 80% of the drug trafficking pathways. We also can't forget the period post the collapse of the Soviet Union, a significant historical event that led to the rise of the formidable Russian mafia, who quickly took control of 70% of the country's economy. Now shift our focus to the numbers, which paint a stark picture. Globally, crime associated with these gangs accounts for a hefty slice of violent crimes. In certain regions like Central America, these gangs are implicated in up to 90% of all murder cases. In terms of economic impact, gang activities drain an estimated from the global economy every year. These aren't just numbers, but a reflection of the deep-rooted social ramifications on societies and families worldwide. These figures and episodes highlight the gravity of gang-related crime and the importance of sustained endeavors to dismantle these groups. It's not just about tightening law enforcement. It's about identifying and addressing deep-seated issues and working towards a more secure, equitable world. In our next video, we'll delve into the strategies that have proven effective in combating gang violence, with a deep dive into successful initiatives from around the globe.